Hi, I'm Sophie Lloyd, and you're watching CMS TV.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Ow! Sometimes it's so hard, 'cause you know that I can never hide my demons and my scars. And in the street lights, you watch me fall to my lowest low, my darkest dark. I went and lost it all. And there is nothing you could do, nothing you could say, baby. Nothing's gonna change my mind. And there is nothing you could do, nothing you could say. I will go 10 years sober if it gets you over. Show it in the side, little deep in love, baby. You better believe. 'Cause there is nothing you could do, nothing you could say. 'Cause I will go 10 years sober, 10 years sober. A rough night, confusing stars.
All right, that is the latest single from Violet Breed featuring this guy right here, Mr. Brian Wheat. Brian, how are you, man?
Hello.
Going.
Good, man. Good to talk to you, man. Great to talk to you about Violent Breed, man. New project for you, or a newer project for you. So tell us about the band and tell us about this new single, 10 Years Sober.
Well, the band is called Violet Breed, like violet the color, breed, like you breed. And it's me and a guy from England called Alex,
Okay.
and he's a young singer-songwriter that I started working with about, I want to say, 10 years ago,
Okay.
maybe 8 years ago. And he had a band in England called Flash Fires, and I produced them and co-managed them and tried to do things with them in England, and it just never seemed to get off the ground. But I had a real good connection with Alex, the lead singer. And so we started working together on a new bunch of songs that were going to be his solo album.
Okay.
And through that, we wound up becoming Violet Breed and co-writing a bunch of songs and and I think we're up to 30 songs now that we've got recorded, and it's great because some of the songs we were together, and now the way we're working today is he'll be in his house in London or his studio, and I'll be at my studio in New York, and I'll hook up to his studio through a program. I'll run his computer and everything, and he'll just set up his mic and sing, and I'll produce and do everything from wherever I am in the world. It's pretty cool technology.
Right on.
So, the big question, people ask, well, what's up with this? Are you leaving Tesla? It's like, no.
Right.
This is something I do in addition to Tesla. When Tesla isn't working, I'm working with Violet Breed. So it's a real band, and I mean, I have Dave Rude from Tesla doing a lot of the guitar work on the record as well.
Sure.
And I play some guitar, bass, keyboards. Alex plays keyboard, acoustic guitar, and sings. And as far as the drummer goes, on some of the songs we used a guy named Derek Deason, and on some of the newer songs we're using Sal from Stained, who lives in the same town I do in Auburn, New York, and he's a great, amazing drummer. So the latest recordings are me, Sal, Dave, and Alex, and a guitar player from Syracuse named Jimmy Falco.
Okay.
I know you like the technology aspect of things, but how different is it to have to do things over a computer as opposed to just jamming in person together?
Well, that's a completely different way of doing things. Mm-hmm. It's almost, if you use the analogy of, I'm going to go from, let's say, New York to Auburn or Syracuse, where I live. I'm going to either drive a car, I'm going to fly in a plane. You get the same place, it's just a different way of getting there.
Sure. Right on.
So, obviously in Tesla, we prefer to be in the room a lot.
Sure.
And that's the way we did it. And because we had to as well back, 40 years ago. But today, I know 40 years, a long time, isn't it? Amazing. I had Jeff Keek with me today. He's with me in Florida, and we're working on a new Tesla set of recordings, and he's been doing vocals. But he's here, right? And I was showing him this technology, and he knows Alex, and he's a big supporter of what I do. And he said, man, that's really cool. You mean I can be in, Sacramento, and you can be here, and I can be recorded? I said, yeah, you need certain equipment, but yeah. But with the Tesla thing, I think we all prefer to be in the room together because that's how we always did it. With Violet Breed, it's a newer kind of thing, and it has a different, newer kind of way of doing things. And that's, that's the difference.
Right. Brian, just take the technology out of it for a minute, even take the music out of it for a minute.
Yeah.
You've obviously been in a band that has been successful for 40 years. Mm-hmm. How difficult is it for you, as you have certain expectations of what the business of music is going to be from doing Tesla for a long time? How different is it to be in kind of a starter band that's really kind of digging in from the ground floor?
Well, what I'll tell you is that when Tesla started 40 years ago, the business, i.e. music business, was completely different than it is today.
Right.
Okay. You used to send in demos, and record companies would sign you, and then they would they would develop a record, and then you used to try to get on the radio, and if that hit, then you tried to go out on tour and build a fan base and do all that. And Tesla did all that.
Right.
Right. With a newer band like Violet Breed, you make the songs, you record them, you put them out on YouTube or Spotify, you try to promote to them. If you can get out and play, you can get out and play. So I guess what I'm saying is it's much harder today, the way the music industry has changed. And I mean, you don't really get paid for making anymore.
Right.
I mean, the money today in the music business as we know it is in ticket sales and T-shirts.
Right.
There's not a lot of money. People aren't buying records. The Spotify and people like that aren't really paying the artists. So really what the music is a commercial to say to somebody, listen, this is what we sound like. Do you like it? And then the next step is, will you come out and buy a ticket and a T-shirt? And it's a whole other way of thinking.
Do you think there's ever going to be an avenue for artists to go after a Spotify and say, all right, enough is enough. You guys got to start paying us?
In order for that to happen, all the artists have to unite, and the ones at the top that actually make money, they have to. And I don't know that they will. You know what I mean? For a band like Tesla, we're not in that A-level top rung, but if you look at, Taylor Swift, I guarantee if someone like Taylor Swift took her songs off of Spotify, it would be a big jolt to, I'm not just singling out Spotify. I'm saying anybody that's doing this streaming stuff. I mean, it used to be if your song got on the radio and they played it one time, you got 4 cents.
Right.
Okay. For every time that it was played, right? Now you get like 1/100th of a cent for a stream.
Right.
And it's just different. And people don't want to buy records because why should they buy records when they can stream it for free on Spotify? I mean, you can go on Spotify and have a free account and listen to my music for free and not pay anybody.
Well, let me be devil's advocate here on that one, Brian, because you guys, I know, are independent now. Why do you put it out there? Why wouldn't you put 3 songs out there instead of 10? Yeah.
I put it out there for the fans.
Okay.
Because, I put it out there. If that's what it is, and that's the way the game is played today, you got to either get out of the game or play the game with the new rules. Just look at like football and how, it used to be you started on the 20-yard line, now you start on the 30-yard line and all these other rules. If you don't play by the rules, you're not playing in the game.
Right. Makes sense.
I mean, that's why I put it out there. I mean, we still love to make music. Mm-hmm. I mean, the motivation isn't to make money. I mean, it never was.
Right.
I mean, yes, do we need to make money? Absolutely. Is Tesla my job? Absolutely. It's all our jobs. That's how we earn our income. But, we found another way to make income and still do it. I mean, the bottom line is if we didn't make any income, then we would have to stop playing and find a job to support our families.
Right.
I mean, you can only take art so far, my man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's be honest, though, these kids today are stupid. And people in our generation, I like holding on to something. I like getting either a CD or a vinyl.
Stupid, right? Only because there's so much of that going on in the world. People calling people stupid, and it's just, let's just say, it's changed. And the kid today isn't like when we were kids. Or I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 61 years old.
Yeah, we're right in same.
It's different, right? We used to go to the record store. We picked up the 12-inch vinyl. We read the liner notes. We looked at the pictures. We knew who the producer was. We knew who the engineer. We knew where it was recorded, right? We knew Abbey Road was a place where the Beatles made records.
Sure.
Today, the kid, you can call them kids or whatever, just, whatever, this new generation, everything's on a cell phone and it's got the attention span of a mosquito, and, it's different. So it's hard to navigate today through the music business, music industry, whatever you want to call it. It's much harder today than it was when I first started. But having done all the things that we did when we first started and having all that to draw on today helps me with today's current model, if you will.
Sure. What model are you planning to use with Violet Breed? Are you going to go the singles model only, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the model with Violet Breed is today's model, which is, put out a single, get interest, talk to people like yourself, get the awareness up, get people to go, hey, that's a cool song. Hey, that I like that guy's voice. Oh, 3 months later, hey, there's another song. Hey, that's a cool song. I like that guy's voice. And keep that up. And then hopefully by the end of the year, see if there's any demand and go out and play some small clubs in America to nurture that into being a sustainable thing that can sustain itself. I don't, listen, I don't have delusions of, I want to be a rock star, or we're going to top what I did in Tesla, or I want to be the next Taylor Swift or anything like that. All I want to do is be able for me and Alex to enjoy making songs together and put them out there. And if we want to go out and play, that it sustains itself. Anything above and beyond that would be gravy and a blessing and all that. But that is the model. It's singles, and every time I put out a track, it has a video, and
right.
Every time we put out a track, me and him both do press, and and then then the next part of that model is you got to be able to play good live, and that's really important. And that's where someone like Tesla, which is, I wear that like a badge of honor, is very, very good live band.
Oh, yeah.
We're not rolling any, tapes or any, Pro Tools. I mean, what you see is what you hear. And, we do that every night. And we're very proud and, honored about that we're able to continue to play and sing at that level. When we can't, I think, we'll stop performing live. Sure. When Jeff can't sing, to a quality that we feel isn't ripping people off, or he will never go up there and sing with the Pro Tools rig behind him.
Right.
It's just Jeff Keith is a no bullshit kind of guy. He would never do it, nor would I want to, nor would I want to do it, or Frank, or anyone else. So, people say, how long do you think Tesla can go on? And I'm like, my answer is really simple. As long as Jeff Keith can still sing to the quality that he sings, we'll continue to play. As long as people want to come and see us play.
Is it still fun?
Yes.
Okay. All of it, or just the show?
Listen, man, I mean, I've had him here for 3 days. I'm laughing my ass off. The guy, I might bring him on in a minute just to to blow your guys' mind, because he's here with luggage. I don't know if you've ever talked to him.
I've talked to him. He's great.
But I mean, I love him. I love Frank. I'm great friends with Tommy Schio again.
Right.
Me and Dave Rude. Troy, I haven't talked to in a while, but that's a whole other story. And one day, hopefully, we'll get back to, where we once were in terms of on our personal side. But, listen, when you spend 40 years with people, it's like a family. And sometimes you get in arguments with your brother, or, you get in a fight. There haven't been too many fist fights in 40 years. There have been a lot of arguments, and we like to call them discussions now.
Right.
I don't really call them arguments anymore.
I don't think the other guys in the band want to fight you or Frank. That's why.
It's not me. You don't want to fight Frank. Frank's he never really. I wouldn't want to fight with Frank, man. Frank kicked my ass. He's pretty big, powerful guy, and he knows martial arts. You wouldn't know it. He doesn't ever talk about it. But I wouldn't mess with Frank. When Frank gets that, his eyebrows raise up and he gets that red look in his face, I'm like, okay, I know to leave him alone.
It's funny because my wife keeps texting me as we're talking to you and talking about Dave Rude and how hot he is. I'm like, all right, quit texting my phone and saying how hot Dave
Rude. Everyone loves Dave Rude, and everyone thinks Dave Rude is hot. He is hot. Dave Rude is a good-looking dude. If I'm not into dudes, but Dave Rude is a good-looking dude.
You were talking about videos.
Seriously, the thing about Dave Rude is he's a great fucking guitar player.
Right.
And on top of that, he's one of the nicest human beings you would ever meet. I mean, he really is a really nice man.
So you were talking about videos and making videos, and 10 years sober. What was the concept behind the video, and where do people actually watch videos now?
Well, I suppose they watch them on YouTube. I guess that's what.
I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
no more MTV.
Yeah, the videos have done really well on YouTube. I mean, we've got some really good, whatever views, the number of views. and the response. So that's where people watch it. The cool thing about the videos, especially I think we made 4 of them, is me and Alex are together in London. We filmed our part in London over the course of 2 days, like a year ago. Okay. And Dave, I just filmed it before sound check with Tesla. And then
Nice.
I edited him in, and people say, oh, they don't really get that Dave actually wasn't in the room with us making the video.
Right.
So, that's it. And, I think it's important, the thing with video. I think when you put out a song in today's model, you got to have the song, you got to have a nice, cool little piece of artwork, and a video. And, I haven't even delved into physical product yet with Violet Breed, i.e. being a single or EP or whatever that you can hold. I'm sure I will. Right now, in the immediate future, it's to put out another single digitally. And, listen, depending on how they do, when I get to 4 or 5 singles, then I'll put it out as an EP, maybe with a couple other songs, and then move on to the next volume of songs. Right. Like I said, we've got about 32 songs recorded.
Right. Brian, when just because you've been, and I don't want to keep turning this only into Tesla, but because you were in Tesla for 40 years at this point, you, like you said yourself, it's like a family. You guys, I know creatively, you guys know what each other's going to do at this point. And, there might be some little idiosyncrasies, but for the most part, even if you're in the studio, you know what each other's going to do by the way everybody starts vibing. But working with Alex, who's a total different generation from you.
Yeah.
I mean, on every level, I have to imagine that's a learning process for you.
It is a learning process, and it's exciting because he'll come from somewhere that I wouldn't if we're writing a song together. I mean, we share a lot of same common influences. Like, we're both Beatle, Paul McCartney freaks, and we both love Freddie Mercury and Queen. And so you've got that, right? You'll see that that's kind of underlying always. But then, he may come some new, younger alternative sounding band or whatever, and I may come with some older thing. But I listen to a lot of new music. I got to be honest. I pretty much, I listen to everything that's going on out there, from, rap to all of it, just because I have to. If I'm going to be a creative guy, I can't just go what's one way from 1968 and that's it, But it is cool because when we do come from, where he comes from and where I come from, and meet, in the middle, that we're both like vibing on it, it's pretty cool. Like something like 10 Years Sober or even Awake. If I played you the original versions of those, they don't sound like his original demos. And then once I got a hold of them and co-wrote with them and produced them, where they evolve into this kind of mixture of old and new. But listen, he loves Freddie, so I mean, he wears it, and I love McCartney and I wear it, so
right on.
That's there, and then you have a mixture of all these newer components.
So
what do you think?
Go ahead, Seth.
What do you think about the new rock music today? I mean, it doesn't get a lot of radio airplay from what I hear, but what do you think about new rock music?
Well, I think there's some good stuff, right?
Yeah.
I also think that a lot of it sounds the same.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the problem I have with it. It doesn't sound back then, man, and especially
what I hope when someone listens to Violet Breed, they say, well, this doesn't sound like all these other stuff that's on active rock radio. It still rocks, it's still heavy, but it doesn't sound like 10 other bands sound. Like some of these bands, and I mean, I know who they are. I'm not going to mention their names or whatever, but they don't have, like, they're not identifiable. Like, I don't know, that could be this band, this band, this band, or this band. I don't know.
Right.
It all sounds very similar. Then there are ones that stick out and you go, okay, that is Linkin Park. I know that's Linkin Park, right? can tell by the music, or that is Tool. I know that's Tool. My Chemical Romance, I love. When I hear My Chemical Romance, I know it's My Chemical Romance. But in today's, they call it active rock. That's the format that all the stuff gets on. Certain things I can't tell which band is which, but there are some bands that I can tell. Oh, okay, that's this guy. That's this guy. When we were making records, I don't want to sound like somebody's grandpa, nostalgic or whatever, but you knew the difference between Steven Tyler and Freddie Mercury,
right?
Yeah, and Robert Plant. These bands, there was more of an identity that each band had, even in the 80s. I mean, Guns N' Roses didn't sound like Tesla, who didn't sound like Queensryche, who didn't sound like Metallica, who didn't sound like Def Leppard,
right.
who didn't, you know what I mean? Or who didn't sound like AC/DC, or so I like about half of it. I guess that's the answer. Half of it I enjoy, and half of it I'm like, man, I can't tell who's who here.
Do you think, Brian, that the reason that it's so similar today is because of the technology? And let me explain it. When you guys were all doing it, you were all in different places. You were in different places and you had different experiences. Like you comparing yourself to Queensryche. Obviously, they were in Washington. That was a different scene than you guys were in. Well, now with the technology, everybody's kind of in the same place and they're creating to sound like each other instead of having their own local scene.
And the way that, these big record companies and stuff have kind of just thrown stuff out there. And if it sticks and they want something that sounds exactly the same, I think the whole thing, if I have to be honest, was better when in the 70s and 80s, of what they were doing. There was definitely more. I mean, when you look at Clive Davis and all the things that he was doing back then, everything was different, whether it was, Whitney Houston or Aerosmith or whoever it was, everything had its own identity. And now it's so just homogenized and blurred into each other that I don't know if it's, and then you get into the technical aspect of back then we used to record on tape machines and you couldn't edit and manipulate things the way people do now. I mean, you can make a record today and not be able to sing in tune or play in tune, and they got programs that'll put that shit in tune for you.
Wow.
Right? And now with this AI stuff, that's a whole other conversation. But, as a joke, I spit some lyrics into an AI program, one of my friends, and it spit out a song that sounded like a finished song.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? I'm like, whoa. Like, this used to take me 3 days or whatever to, sometimes weeks or some. The best ones come pretty quick. I got to be honest. They always did. But if I needed to craft something and it took me, a week to work on a song, arrange it, whatever, I was doing it. Now you just go, write me a song about a flower on a sunny day that sounds like Metallica and, the bridge has a Led Zeppelin feel and this AI thing spits it out and it charges you a fee. And all of a sudden you're saying you wrote it. And it's like, fucking Paul McCartney never did that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Freddie Mercury, it's just, so that's the part I feel bad about. And especially for the younger generation that is buying and listening to music. I think a lot of.
So what is Tesla? So the Rock Hall nominees were announced today. And
I saw
what does Tesla think about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Listen, I think it's a bit of a popularity contest. You know what I mean? I saw that the Black Crowes are being in there. I thought, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean?
But Tesla should be there before the Black Crowes should be there.
Well, that's for you to say, not for me to say. But what it does say to me is that if the Black Crowes are going to be put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, then perhaps Tesla should be considered for it, purely for the fact of the 5-man acoustical jam.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because, how it was been told to me is that if you do something that is kind of influential or creates a movement or whatever, okay, well, I mean, Black Crowes were and I don't want to really talk about the Black Crowes because Blabbermouth will get on this, and then next
right.
Chris Robinson thinks I love the Black Crowes. I've loved the Black Crowes since day one, and I'm glad they're being considered. What I did see, who else was considered today?
Soundgarden, Bad Company,
Bad
Outcast.
Company. My question with Bad Company is why so long? Why have they waited so long? Bad Company should have been in there before a lot of bands.
Sure.
Right? I mean, a lot of bands. So, I don't trip on this Rock and Roll Hall. Pretty soon it's not going to mean shit because everyone's going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's the problem. Even rap artists are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But I mean, just in general, it's like, who isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Right.
There's going to be more people, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that aren't in the Rock and Roll
Right. Well,
Hall of Fame. They're going to have to come up with a new one.
Well, I gotta swing it back to you for a minute though, Brian, or to Tesla. You guys, I mean, just based on, like you said, the acoustical jam alone created that whole unplugged movement, which was a legitimate movement.
Well, it was, but I want to go on record and just say that we did not invent that.
No, but you popularized it.
The thing that we did was we had the first successful acoustic live album before Rod Stewart, before Eric Clapton, before Nirvana. And that's what we did do. That was our contribution. So based on that contribution, do I think that merits us going in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I don't know. I mean, you can make that argument for a lot of artists that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Did what they do, merit them to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I don't know. Listen, if they called and they wanted to put us in there, would I turn it down? No.
Sure.
No. I mean, but am I going to be heartbroken if Tesla never gets in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Absolutely not.
Right. Well, I will be because you guys should be there.
What matters most to me is that 40 years later, people are still paying their hard-earned dollars to come and see us play by the thousands.
Right.
And that, to me, you can keep all the fucking awards. That's the one that I'm most proud of, is that when I look out there and I see 2,500 people wherever we go in America to play, singing our songs in 3 generations of people, right? That I don't need to be put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't need a Grammy. I don't need any of that shit to validate what Tesla has done or does.
I don't even think validation. I think it's just an honor that you deserve. And that's sometimes where I think that the Rock Hall is a piece of shit. That's my words, not yours.
I like your style, man. You're hardcore, man. You're Donald Trump. I love it. But listen, I can't get caught up in that shit. I mean, I ain't gonna lose any sleep over it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. I was happy to see, Chris and Rich get nominated, and I was happy to see them recognize Chris Cornell for Soundgarden, because I think Chris Cornell was a great singer and a true artist. I didn't really pay too much attention to who else was there, except Bad Company, and I was like, it's about time.
Yeah, the rest you don't need to look at.
I mean, that first Bad Company record was like, to me, that first Bad Company record was as classic and influential as Van Halen 1 was to me.
Right.
They were both equally as, I mean, you had the Bad Company 1 record, just like you had Led Zeppelin 1, just like you had Van Halen 1.
Right.
And you had the Black Crowes' first record. And a lot of people have Tesla's first album, which they consider to be a classic first album. You know, and I listen, I'm not going to say that it wasn't. I'm proud of that fucking record. It is a good first record. I look at a lot of bands' first records that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and their first records aren't very fucking good.
Right, right on. Well, one more quick one, just, and I don't want to turn this into the rock.
As much time as you want.
Cool.
Hey, go tell Jeff to come out for a second.
Let me ask you about the Rock Hall. One more thing. If and when you guys do get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm going to say when, because you're shortchanging it a little bit, but I'll say the combination of the acoustic thing as well as 10, 15 top 10 hits should put you there. That all being said, if you guys got in, is Tommy on stage with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So's Troy.
Okay, good.
Dave Rude. Absolutely. If that were ever to happen, it would not be right. But Tommy would definitely be there, and so would Dave Rude. You would see Tesla with 3 guitar players.
Very good. As it should be.
Hall of Fame if we ever. So look at it here. Say hello to this guy.
Look at this guy, Jeff Keith.
Oh, I have so many people to thank. You don't tell me who should I all thank. God, thank you, Father in heaven. Oh my gosh, we are so blessed to be here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay, but
no, we're probably not going to get there.
Okay,
it should be.
You know what? Even if we don't get there, we're still rocking and rolling 40 years later.
That's it.
All right.
Amen to that.
Y'all don't have a trophy for us, but that's okay.
Hey, Jeff, actually, we were here yesterday, and he was doing his radio thing. You guys need to get him on. He needs to have his own radio show or podcast or something.
Oh yeah, we're gonna play rock and roll. We're gonna play R&B, baby. We're gonna get the king of soul. That's right. Sitting in the evening sun, I'll be sitting when the morning comes. Oh no, wait. Okay. Watching the ships roll in, and then all of a sudden, she came in through the bathroom window. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, see?
I even got playing DJ. I got fired yesterday, and then they said, oh my gosh.
They hired him back.
Because the fans were demanding it.
That's right.
Nice.
Okay. That's the Jeff Keith treat.
Yeah, because I have no.
There you go.
Oh.
40
Too
years.
good.
Hey,
That's good shit right there.
brother. Love that guy.
Hell yeah. Well, everybody, we all do too, man. We are huge Tesla fans here.
Amen.
So
Get back on track because we can get sidetracked. In answer to your question, yes, if that ever were to happen, the whole original band would play, and so would Dave Rude. So there'd be 6 of us up there.
right on, man. Well,
So I wait a second, real quick. I read something that you guys are playing with Def Leppard at a thing called Summerfest this coming year.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Big brothers.
Yes, Def Leppard have been like our big brothers. They're the. I mean, I will go on the record and say they're the best band we ever toured with, as human beings, as musicians. Yes. They treated Tesla with the most incredible amount of kindness
They say we
and
go
respect.
anywhere we want.
Respect. So yeah, we're playing with Leppard. I love Def Leppard.
Good shit, man.
that's great.
Well, where do people find Violent Breed? Where are you going to send them to get stuff, check out the videos and everything else?
You would go on Spotify and type in Violet Breed.
Easy enough.
Go to YouTube and type in Violet Breed and the videos that come up. Or, you know, if you, I think now if you go look at like Tesla and stuff, it will show other things we're doing, right? So, you know, that's where you'd find that. You find Tesla at TeslaTheBand.com, Tesla the Band Facebook, you know, wherever. All roads lead to Tesla.
You might even meet us in the supermarket.
That's right. or Hibachi steak place last night.
There you go.
Well, next time you're in Cleveland, you're gonna have to. We're gonna have to hook up and go to a hibachi place around here. We got a bunch. So,
Yeah.
and I know you guys play the MGM a lot. I've seen you quite a few times.
Where are you guys at?
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
In Cleveland?
Yep.
Cleveland rocks. So is that why you were asking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think
No.
they suck, and I want to know when you're gonna get in.
Hey,
So.
you know what? I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I heard a pick was.
I want to tell you the story.
Okay.
1995, right? Before we took a little 5-year hiatus,
Right.
me and Frank went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with our tour manager at the time, this guy named Jim Silva, who used to do Judas Priest. He was a great guy.
Okay.
And, you know, we're looking at all the exhibits. This was 1995, right? This is a long time ago. And me and Frank, you know, this is back when we used to do a lot of drugs and stuff.
What?
Huh?
Yeah. Hey, Jim, how come we ain't in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And he goes, hey, give me one of your picks. And I gave him one of my picks, Frank picks. And, you know, they had those display cases and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He put a couple of our picks up there. He goes, now you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Shut up.
Too good.
See, that's awesome because I could say I did drugs at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, same as he did.
No,
I'm
I
part of
didn't.
the club, man. This is awesome.
I was on him when I went.
Yeah. Nice.
I didn't go. Listen, for the record, I didn't go on the toilet or anything. But I was, you know, I probably drank a lot back then. 1995, we were all, you know, off our rails.
Literally, yes.
Listen, I mean, you know, we never really talked about that. I talk about it a little bit in my book.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that was never the main issue with us. I mean, the main focus was always with Tesla was always about the music.
Right.
It was about the songs. Always about, you know, our performance live. If we play a bad show live,
Right.
it puts us in a bad mood. You know, like, hey man, we fucked up. It's like we lost the Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
We want to get across the finish line in first place every time when we're playing live. And when we play with other bands, it's kind of like it's like, hey, you know, our job. And this is what we learned from touring with Def Leppard early on. Our managers, Peter and Cliff, said, your job every night is to go out there and try and kick their ass.
Right.
And that's what we did. We tried to kick their ass. You know what I mean?
Tough battle.
That's what made us the great live band that I think we are, or that I'll say, well, listen, a lot of people say we are, so I'm not arrogant guy or whatever. A lot of people say Tesla's a very, very good live band.
Yeah.
We are.
Great band. Absolutely.
And we put ourselves in that, right?
Completely live.
Completely live. No tapes, no nothing, right? So, anyways, I'm lost. Where did we start?
Cleveland.
I figured what we were.
In 2019, check this out. Oh, wait. Hang on. Get out. What happened? It stopped. Hang on. Check it out.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere we go. Hello, Cleveland.
That's awesome.
The morning in the snow blizzard.
Too good.
Yes, only come to Cleveland in the summer.
Oh, hey, man, it's colder than shit in the fucking winter.
Yeah,
it is.
But I've been to a few Cleveland Indian games.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, wait, they're not called the Indians.
Yeah, they are on this show.
Yeah, they are on this show.
Yeah. They're the Cleveland Indians. You know, I mean, listen, no disrespect to Indians
No,
and
no.
Redskins,
Yeah.
anything. I mean, you know, that's what I know them.
Right.
So,
Right on.
all right. All
right.
I think I've given you a lot of information there.
Yeah, we appreciate everything,
Absolutely.
man. We can't thank you enough for coming on, man.
By Jeff Keith.
Hello.
Thank you, brother.
And, you know, we'll have some more Violet Breed songs. Tesla's got a new single out. Tesla's going to put out some new stuff in the fall. I'm not
Excellent.
what it is because it's a surprise. Ooh.
Looking forward to it.
Well, for now, why don't we end with a little bit more of Violet Breed?
There you go, buddy.
Thank you
right.
again, man.
All right, Brian.
All right, guys.
All right, take
See
care,
ya.
bud.
Bye.
There is nothing you could do, nothing you could say, baby. Nothing's gonna change your mind. And there is nothing you could do, nothing you could say, 'cause I will go 10 years sober. 10 years sober. Short inside, live a different life.
this land stands tall and proud. Believes in freedom, speaks his mind out loud. Mentored by Triv, he learned to be tough. Life knocked him down, but he got back up. Lost a leg, but he's still strong and true. Chasing dreams under skies of red, white, and blue. Voting for Trump, he shouts it clear. WTAM tried to bring him down, but he's still here. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Hates LeBron James, won't wear that crown. Prefers hard work and blue jeans in this town. Radio waves try to shut him up, but Seth keeps singing, filling that cup. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. On the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air.